Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Gloria Thomas here with me today, who for the duration of this episode will be called Gigi. How you doing tonight, Gigi?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I see we have a couple people in the building already. Chastity Curry says good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, I want to say salutations and hello to everybody who might be tuned in through Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire, E360 TV, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are in the world watching our show tonight. I want to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to having a good camaraderie throughout this discussion.
Yes.
Now, Gloria, where are you from?
I am, as they say, born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, really? Born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
What was it like for you growing up in Dallas, Texas? They say everything's bigger in Texas.
Including the mosquitoes. So,
okay.
It was fun for me. I mean, of course, I didn't know anything different, but I had fun. I was a private school girl from first grade to 12th grade, so definitely got teased about that, living in the neighborhood with everyone that got to go to public school except me, but I loved it though. I got to go to private school when we still had nuns and priests.
Okay. Why did you make that distinction? What's that mean?
Because nowadays you don't really have any, there's more lay people now in the Catholic schools teaching than you actually have nuns with habits. And if you do have nuns, they're just in regular everyday clothes.
You said nuns with habits.
Yes, you know the habits like from Sister Act, the Whoopi Goldberg had on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just look like me. You wouldn't know the difference.
Okay, so the culture is changing there.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm looking forward to your participation in the chat tonight. Drop a question, comment, or hit the emojis, and hop in wherever you like. So, do you have brothers and sisters?
No, actually, I was raised as an only child. I was adopted. Now, according to my original birth certificate, I do have at least one sibling out there because it wasn't a legal adoption. Papa was a Rolling Stone, as the song says.
Okay.
So the story was that Daddy had another child with another woman outside of marriage. And apparently by the age of 18 to 24 months, I did not quite look like the other children. Mm-hmm. So that woman's husband was like, yeah, you probably need to find out who the parent is over here. And so the story is she gave me to him to raise. Now, don't know if that's true. That was always the story. Both my parents went to their grave never knowing that I knew I was adopted.
They didn't know that you knew that you were adopted.
Exactly. They spent a lot of time and a lot of hard work keeping the secret. Now, of course, it's very difficult to keep a secret of a new child when they're about 18 to 24 months. So when you bring them home, it's like everybody kind of knows you didn't give birth to a toddler. Right. So it was about the worst kept secret in Dallas.
Well, I'm wondering, how did you find out?
The original time that it was brought up to me, I was probably in somewhere between third and fourth grade. Went to school with another young lady, her parents, friend to my parents. Her adoption was open. So her parents told her. Well, kids back then, they tease you about things like that. The kids were teasing her about being adopted. Me, not really in that little group, it's kind of, the gang, that bullies people. Yeah. So I wasn't part of that, but you're on the outside, you're a kid. They say something funny, you laugh. And she turned to me and goes, I don't know why you're laughing. You're adopted too. Went home, asked my mom, I've been short all my life. So I'm like tugging, like, Patricia said I'm adopted. Is that true? And she looks at me and goes, what do you think? And I went, no. And she goes, all right then.
Right.
That was it.
Wow. Okay. Now, were you especially good in school? Were you great academically? What was the social experience like for you outside of that scenario?
I would say I was probably average to above average as far as grades. I was an ABC student, depending on what it was. Very active, though, as far as in drama. I did poetry and prose competition, went to UIL. and things like that. So I've always kind of liked the entertainment, dramatic arts since early childhood.
When you were young, were there any poets or public figures that you looked up to?
None that I could really recall like that. I was really into music when I was young, very young. My parents were socialites, basically. So they would go to B.B. King concerts, Johnny Taylor, Bobby Blue Bland. So I was really into music. And so I looked up to a lot of, singers more than dramatic actors growing up at that time.
So you enjoyed Johnny Taylor?
Oh, yes.
What's your favorite record by Johnny Taylor?
Oh, see, I knew you put me on the spot. I don't remember anymore. But
These
now
last $2.
No, I can't remember. But I tell you who you can ask me about: Johnny Walker and the All Stars.
Okay.
Shotgun.
Okay.
Shoot him before you run now. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Hold up. Let's look that up. You said Johnny Walker
and the All Stars. Shotgun.
All right, y'all. Go ahead and look up Johnny Walker and the All Stars. Some more Southern heat for us. Some more Southern heat for us.
Yeah. People say, how do you know those? Oh, Millie Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, don't remember her songs, but growing up, I would put on my mother's wigs and try to act like I was her.
Right. Now, Catholic school, were there diverse experiences for you in Catholic school?
Yes. My whole life was definitely pretty diverse. It was minimal, African American children at the school, but not so minimal that you felt isolated or alone. So definitely, we had an eclectic mix in school. And then my father also was a golfer, which back then was, it wasn't the Tiger Woods era,
Right.
So I grew up in that very diverse arena. So going to school, in a mixed race environment and living in a mixed race environment was quite normal.
So in this sea of normalcy, you were just naturally outspoken, naturally comedic, and just in character from a young age, as far back as you can remember.
Yes, I was definitely in that category of a class clown.
Okay.
Most of the time when I got in trouble with the nuns, it was for talking too much. Or making people laugh. My dad actually used to say I was vaccinated with a phonograph needle.
What's that mean?
And I asked him the same thing.
Yeah.
And apparently it's like the record player that just won't.
Hey, everybody, drop a 1 in the chat if you used to talk too much. I need to drop a 1 in the chat myself. I'm gonna drop.
I need to drop several ones.
Yeah, everybody, drop a 1 in the chat if you used to talk too much. Man, that's a lot of us. And so. How old were you when you discovered that you actually were talented, that you weren't just talking for no reason, that you weren't just outspoken for no reason? When did you discover that?
That's a good question. I would have to say the first time that I could really say that would have been in high school, probably my sophomore, junior year, when I did my first dramatic interpretations and competed, in drama club and things like that. And had other students or the teacher go like, "Oh wow, you're good at that," and it would have had to been high school.
Okay, we got Tabitha Rochelle Hatcher in the building. She says I still do. She say she still talk too much. I'm looking for several comments from you tonight, Tabitha. Several.
That would be my youngest daughter.
Okay. Chastity Curry says I always thought nuns were cool. Shout out to Sister Mary Clarence. I've always thought they were cool too, especially for the unique headdress that they wear. I never understood it, but it was what made them them. Chastity says, "I was shying quiet. I'm a 1 now. Yeah, you talk too much out there. Talking too much now." Okay, so now walk us through what was going on in your life in high school. Were you dating at the time? What was your relationship like with your father? What was your relationship like with your mother? What was going on in high school?
Well, being very transparent, it was a very difficult time on the inside. On the outside, I'm sure to everyone, it looked like it was great. Life at home was very difficult. I share with some people that know, not everyone knows, but being adopted and being in that situation where your mother is actually, the mother that raised you is having to raise their husband's love child. You can imagine wasn't a very good atmosphere to raise a child in. So unfortunately, I did grow up in a bit of an abusive, physically and emotional, situation. But on the outside, it was definitely something that no one would have really known about. We definitely, I would say, uh, portrayed that ideal African American family, that you're a socialite, you go to private school, everything you wear came from Neiman Marcus or Singer Harris. My cousins come over to the house, you have, oh my God, you have Monopoly and Trouble and Operation, and you still have all the pieces.
Yeah,
But
by the way, yeah.
You didn't play with it until it came out. So I think even when it came to a lot of the dramatic stuff that was going on with the creativity, that came from being alone a lot. So unless you were out at some function, or at school participating in something, home life wasn't quite what people, thought it was. So I think that contributed to a lot of, how I became who I am today, as far as just being compassionate and understanding, because I know what you see is not always necessarily what it is.
That's
So
right.
those years were very tough, but I will say high school definitely made it better. I had a lot of good teachers, a lot of good friends, and would love to be in school or church rather than anywhere.
Yeah. When you talk about the adversities that you faced as a young teen at home, we have 444,000 youth in the foster care system today. Many of them will not be adopted. A lot of them are being adopted, and a lot of children in general are being treated the way that you described, where I'm treating you like you were adopted. I'm treating you like you're not my real child, and I feel and I think that millions of people can relate to you when you're transparent in that way.
Hmm.
Now, what did you do to cope? Because you obviously were conscious of the way you were being treated. What did you do to cope, or did you just internalize all of this?
That's exactly what I did. I internalized a lot of it. I definitely was a child that spent a lot of time pretending and fantasizing. I lived in a make-believe world, and I learned to put on a mask when you went outside of your house, because
Mhm.
I grew up my parents were the age of all my friends' grandparents. So I had that double generation gap. So it definitely was a time period when you kept your dirty laundry at home.
Mhm.
What happened at home stayed at home. So you didn't take that out. So you learn very early when you're at home, you live in this pretend world, and the dolls become your friends. I had a lot of animals. So the animals were your friends. When you're outside the house, you put on the mask that life is wonderful. And then that's just the way it was. And it was almost training you to become a great actress.
Hmm. What do you say to the young people who are out there who are going through the same adversity that you went through? What is your message to them tonight?
The biggest message that I've been sharing since that one video, went viral, and I am getting a lot of messages that people are sharing that story. Right now, the best thing I'm telling them is to look at where I am. I survived it. If
Mhm.
one person can survive it, another person can survive it. If you feel like this is something that hasn't been done, or you didn't see it so that you can relate to it, then it seems like an impossible task. But if you can look at somebody who can say, wait, you went through depression, wait, you had abusive parents, wait, you did this, and you're here, then that's something tangible that they can look at and say, okay, I can do it.
That's right.
So that's what I try to let them know, that what you're feeling, it feels like you're alone. It feels like it's something unique, but it's a world of us that have got that same story to share.
Would you say that we need to have more conversations about foster care and adoption, or does everybody know? Or have we done enough raising awareness, or do we need to have more conversations about it?
There needs to be a lot more conversations about it. And I'll tell you another angle that it needs to come from. And that's when it comes to women who are having fertility issues, having children. It's almost like adoption is still has a bit of a stigma to it. It's like if the child didn't come from your womb, somehow it's not your child. And that's so not true. I mean, the maternal instincts or the parental instincts that come, they're going to develop in the time that you spend with that child. So I wish we did spend a lot more time in engaging people on exactly why adoption is a very viable, option if they're having, trouble, having children that are their flesh and blood. My pastor said something recently about asking yourself when you are going through all of that, is it that you really want to be a parent of your child, or do you want to be a parent?
Okay.
Because if you want to be a parent, then you open your mind to other alternatives out there, and not just limit yourself, because there are so many children out there that need a good home.
That's right. There are a lot of children who are in the system. I was in the system as well. I was adopted at the age of 15. My mother's actually in the building right now. And we are a testament to the reality that amazing relationships can come out of the decision to adopt, and the decision to be intentional about the role that we play in one another's lives. Gigi, what you're raising awareness about tonight is a huge issue. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The youth in the system are America's children, and it is upon us to have the types of conversations that can bring new people into the children's lives and to bring new people into the adult lives, and so that America becomes a better place.
Yes.
And so this platform is a home for these conversations without a shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you graduated from high school, what were your thoughts about your future? Where was your self-esteem? What were you forecasting would happen in your life after high school?
Actually, high school, just as stereotypical as it would be, was a very big transition. You asked me earlier about dating. That's something I never did. Led a very, very sheltered life. Had my very first boyfriend the senior that summer that I graduated. So I went into college with a definite different opinion about what my life was going to be. I was going to be out of the house. Nobody's going to be there to watch what you're doing. You mean I can choose what time I get up. I can choose whether to go to school. I literally left the house, went to North Texas, and felt like my life began. And
wow.
And as much as I went for radio, TV, and film with a minor in psychology, it was my intent to do something in the industry related to children and dealing with some of the issues that we've talked about. Yeah. I actually did back off of going to class, but not because I didn't like school. It was the first time I felt freedom, and I was able to get a job, earn money, and actually experience what life was like, going out with friends. So not that I wilded out. I really didn't. Maybe a little bit, but that was just because I had zero, experience. So I did the little, pledging little sister, going to a few parties, hanging out at the 7-Eleven all night playing Miss Pac-Man, and things like that. But it really did open me up to what it was like to not live under that sheltered restriction. Mm-hmm. And it was a wonderful freedom, so I did regret that it slowed the educational process down. Mm-hmm. But looking back on it, I was glad for that, the socialization that it gave me that I did not have, growing up.
I can relate to that 100%. And I'm wondering who else out here can relate to this. If you can relate to this part of Gigi's life, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. Also, my nephew's watching this. He says, yeah, a lot of kids deserve a good home. That's right, Little Will. I am happy that your mother is providing a great home for you. And I hope that you have a good night too, Lil Will. Remember, always shoot for the stars and be the best you can be. Amen. Hey, Gigi, can you say hi to Little Will for us?
Hey, Little Will. And I'm too glad that you have a good home.
drop a one in the chat if you can identify with the idea that, through your teenage years, you are like a pressure cooker. All of your experiences are just building up, building up inside of you, and you have no idea of the beauty, the wonders of the world.
Mhm.
And when you get to college, it is such an amazing experience, not just academically, and not that the academics takes a back seat, but when you hit the ground running, the academics almost does take a back seat, because it's like, look at this, thousands of wonderful people, opportunities to like really grow up. Like, this is now an opportunity for me to actually grow up after all these years. And so we do have this moment where you're just a lot more fascinated with fellowship, a lot more fascinated with getting to know new people,
Yeah.
and really testing the waters and seeing who you are. I think a whole lot of us can relate to that. I sure can.
I definitely can.
Yeah. So now, did
Stuff.
your 4 year stay extend into more than 4 years, or did you finish, or how did that play out?
I ended up actually moving to Denton and starting to live there. So I did not graduate at that time. I
Okay.
actually transitioned into just being an adult living in a college town. I took a job at McKinney Job Corps, which I, to this day, will say was one of my favorite jobs, probably one of the most hard fought for jobs, because I was 22 years old. The oldest students were 21. And though I interviewed very well and everyone liked me, they were very concerned with how are you going to run a dorm and take charge of girls who are only 2 years apart from you. And so it really was something where I had to, fight for, give me a chance. But again, because my parents had that double, age gap going on, and because of the type of life, I grew up around adults.
Yeah.
So I was mature in a different way. I may not have been socialized with people my own age, but that adult mentality was there. So it wasn't that difficult for me. And I really was able to gain their respect very quickly, because the first night on the job, I don't know how much you know about McKinney Job Corps. It's kind of sometimes in different states given the reputation of a teenager's last chance, a young adult's last chance. Judges will, sentence you to go to Job Corps and learn a trade rather than go to jail, or they'll choose to go there if they can't go to college. So it definitely has that reputation of where fights can break out, very frequently, almost that jailhouse mentality. My very first night on the job, I worked a 3 to midnight shift. There was what they call a quad fight. There's 4 quads, just like a little college campus. And it's like gang wars. And you're instructed, if a quad fight breaks out, you get all your students back in the dorm, you lock it down. And I was able to do it. And the first things, half the girls looked at me and go, "You're not coming back tomorrow, are you?"
And what did you do? Did you come back?
I was there for the next 3 years.
Wow. That critical 10-year gap is one of the most challenging rites of passage to safe and stable adulthood. Talk to us about what that 10-year gap was for you, the gap where you're not quite finished with college, but you still want to get your life to the next level. And it's not easy, because you're in the middle now. Talk to us about that journey where you were just in the middle.
It was a very difficult little transition there, because I actually was still trying to figure out whether I wanted to go back to school. I loved that job, and to stay on that job, definitely I could not do both. But also in the meantime, I, was dealing with the parents wanting to know what was really going on. So I was really juggling a lot, and was a lot of confusion there. So I would say it was probably one of the most chaotic times for me, trying to figure all that out. I eventually left Denton and moved back home to Dallas, and gave up on school. And it became a very huge sore spot until I was in my 30s. It was like I really felt defeated, because it's almost like I felt like I failed. And so that 10-year kind of gap that you're talking about, that was very, very much turmoil for me because it felt like I failed.
Yeah.
And I think I spent another 10 years trying to get back on the right track, trying to figure out, do you go back into radio, TV, film? Do you give up on it? Do you just stay at home and admit defeat? What do you do? My parents were, again, coming from an era where you got a job at the post office, work for that pension, and you're good,
Yeah.
and I was still fighting that, so it's like it started my fight all over again to get out of the house and get out from under that.
One of the things that I would like to champion with you tonight is the idea of first of all, everybody out there, you've got to start over and over and over and over. It seems like every time you turn around, you're going to be starting over. And tonight, I'm encouraging you to muster the strength to start over.
Yeah.
If you are in that gap between finishing school, if that's your idea of successful adulthood, and wherever you might be right now, I want to co-champion with Gigi tonight that you can do it. You can get through the 10-year gap. And mind you, it might be 10 years. You might be in your third year feeling down and out, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling like you failed, feeling like, oh, I'm almost about to concede to failure. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You're not the only person who is in that gap. I had a conversation recently with somebody who told me, and this is somebody who's now an executive director of a very competitive organization in America. She said, listen, I had to go through 10 years of crummy jobs. That's what she said. 10 years of crummy jobs, going to school, trying to figure out how I could get it done. But it took her 10 years and she got it done. Maybe you're in that gap tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. You can do this. We're counting on you. You can. Gigi is an example that your life's not over. Raise yourself up. Talk to somebody. Get some help. Have a conversation.
Yes.
Tune in to America's Next Motivator.
Yes.
And we'll do this together. Everybody, we're talking to Gigi, and we'll be right back after this brief message. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network and our viewership. And we're back. Gigi, how you feeling out there?
I'm doing awesome.
That's right. That's right. So now, I think a lot of us are here with you in this moment. We're reflecting on our lives and just how much you relate to millions of people across America tonight. And now I want you to take us home. What happens next after you realize that this is not the end of the road for you? What'd you do next?
What did I do next, or what am I going to do next?
Both.
Well, I tell you right now, I just want to continue reaching out to everyone that I'm making friends with. It's like, that the people out there, they're feeling the things that they're feeling, but until you're put in a position where they're actually able to communicate directly to you,
Mhm.
and share their stories and ask you questions. And you realize that the things that you've gone through in life weren't for naught.
That's right.
You know, I am now I've always had this feeling of wanting to entertain people. It was always about making people laugh. I always felt like I was always so sad on the inside. So, the direction or the purpose in life was just to make people laugh, just to give them a brief break. Well, later that developed into wanting to encourage people and wanting to share love with them. I've worked with children and young adults off and on the majority of my adult life, and wanting to just let these people, know that you're not alone. Somebody's going to hug you today. Somebody's going to love you today. Somebody's going to listen to you today. And this opportunity that's come in the last few weeks has literally given me the opportunity to feel like I can just hug on thousands of people. And as far as where I want to take that, I want to be able to hug thousands more.
Wow.
I want to continue where, I tell them all the time when I answer their messages, somebody cares, somebody's praying for you, somebody's here to motivate you, and it be somebody who's just an ordinary person like me, nobody with a big name, nobody with big bright lights, somebody who you could really see, at Walmart.
Yeah. You know what? This resonates so deeply with me because a lot of people who are older than me are apprehensive about speaking out, about letting the world know their perspectives, what they think, how they feel about things. And to see you making that decision, to me is a huge deal. Now, for those of you out there who don't know, Gigi has a very large following on social media. She is viral on Instagram and she's viral on TikTok. And she's viral because she's funny, she's inspirational, and she's like almost like America's grandmother right now. You know, if I can say it that way.
Yes, you can. I am honored now to have that title.
Yeah, a lot of us have lost our grandmothers, and a lot of us have lost our mothers. Some of us didn't never had a mother or a grandmother who was active in their lives. And so for you to say, not only am I going to speak out, but I'm going to go to where the people are. I'm going to get on TikTok. I'm going to get on Instagram. Is rare to say the least. So what was your social media journey like? How did you figure it out? How did you figure it out? Talk to me.
I am still figuring it out, Cedric. But I will say that COVID is what pushed me into it. A lot of comedians, when everything shut down, we had to switch to social media to try to keep, ourselves busy, kind of keep our audience, connected with us. Me being an older, person in the industry, it was very foreign to me. I had no idea what TikTok was. And literally just one day decided to go over there and see what it was. And I don't know if you remember, apparently originally it was a lot of lip sync. And when I found out that's what it was, I was like, oh my God, I love lip sync, So I was like, I could do this. And I literally, I can't give it to no one but God, because I did a popular TikTok and it just took off, and it blew me away as much as anything. Like, wow, the reception that was there. And it was so genuine. It was warm. All the little kids were like, will you be my granny? And literally, so it was COVID that pushed me to have to stretch out of my comfort zone. And then it actually felt like a very good fit. And it just kind of grew from there.
When you began to express yourself creatively on social media, you got overwhelmingly positive feedback. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Do you feel that your decision to do that made the quality of your life better?
Oh, very much so. One thing a lot of people don't know about me is I live with a lot of chronic illnesses. So the way people live during COVID, I was already supposed to be living like that. I'm on immunosuppressants. I live with lupus and a lot of other, chronic diseases. So again, when COVID pushed comedians out of the comedy clubs, someone like me who's considered extremely high risk, I thought it was over. It's
Wow.
like How can I be with the people? I'm a people person. You know, I was already struggling with having to live that isolated life. So there was depression that came with that. You know, thinking like, okay, I was active in community theater. You know, I'm singing and dancing. You know, having parts in Best Little Whorehouse in Texas and Aida and shows like this on stage. To me, I thought all that was gone. You know, I wasn't going to be able to be creative and connect with people anymore. I was going to be this, you know, seriously, this little old lady, like maybe I need to go get some cats. You
Right.
know? And
You felt that with the onset of the pandemic that your life was over.
Truly, as far as that creative side, that personal side that could really, you know, go out and touch people, be with children who, of course, were going to be big carriers of always of anything. I dealt with depression for real. So when I have done those talks on there and talked to them about that, I'm not telling them about something that I read. I'm telling you about something I lived.
That's right. When did you start the comedy and the performances? Like before, obviously before the pandemic and before social media, you were doing comedy and you were performing. Talk to us about when you got started with that and what your routines are like.
The very first, I've always in the back of my head thought, oh, I could do comedy. I could do comedy because
Yeah.
I was the class clown. I was the person that made everybody laugh. I was at a big mega church here in Dallas. It was the 25th anniversary. So we were going to do a talent show, like the old school. What's the one where they rub the
Apollo.
Apollo
Yeah.
theater style?
Okay.
I decided, talking with a friend of mine, Tonette King, that I think I'm going to do it. I think I should go do it. Again, I worked with children, got some of the older kids to do it with me, wrote my first routine, performed it during the anniversary. Thought it would just be a bucket list thing, check it off. Ended up getting an overwhelming reception, got a standing ovation. And I'm still to this day look back and go, are they clapping for me? You know.
And this was at church.
It was at church. And when we had our little green room, pastor came back and went, where is that Gonzalez girl? And he said, I didn't know you performed. And I'm like, I don't. It was my first time. No one believed me. But Cedric, if I tell you, that was the day that I felt inside, like, I really can't do this, huh?
And respectfully, how old were you when this happened?
In my 40s.
So now, what do you say to the 40-year-olds out here in America who have a talent inside, they got something to say, and they are just discouraged? What do you say to them tonight? They need a word from you.
It's the Aaliyah song, age ain't nothing but a number. If you still have the heart for it, if you still have that desire for it, then you go do it. I say until you are dead and in the ground, you don't give up on what you want to do, because if you look hard enough, you're going to find someone that looks like you doing it. You mentioned about going back to school. Even when I went back to school, I was in my 30s. I think I was 31 or 32, somewhere in there. I was the oldest thing in my classroom. But guess what? Before those 18 months were over, I started looking around. I wasn't the oldest one in there. It was very few of us. Now, when I've gone back to take classes later, or I go to a comedy show, now I'm starting to see people my age. No, it's not a lot of them, but they're there. So it goes back to, if you can find one person in your age group, and I am very proud to say that I just turned 59 last Sunday. So even the 60-year-olds, the 70-year-olds, it's never too late.
That's right. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building, y'all. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building. I've had many conversations about the absence of the people who are older than us. It's like, where are those who are older than us to give us wisdom, to give us knowledge, to give us game on the lives that we live? Where are they? So many of them are afraid. It's like they have this alert, they have this allergy to social media, and this allergy to getting on camera and letting us know how they feel. But I'm here to tell you that we love to hear from our generations, people who are older than us. We love it.
Yes.
And we need it. you know,
very much.
and so you're setting a powerful precedent by making that decision. Now, that doesn't mean that everything is PG and that everything is, you know, square. Some of your stuff is completely out of pocket. And I want everybody to go out there and follow you on Instagram and follow you on TikTok. What's your name on Instagram?
Lady GG50.
Okay, Lady GG50. Y'all gotta check her out. She's off the chain, y'all. Lady GG50. Some of the things that she says is just completely out there. What's your name on TikTok?
It's also Lady GG50.
Okay, so y'all look her up on Instagram, on TikTok. She regularly gets thousands of views, and it's because we've been needing to hear from someone the likes of yourself. The likes of yourself. I went on here and I looked up your Facebook page. I'm going to show that to everybody real quick.
Okay.
Just give me a second here. And you guys look her up on Facebook. Bring her out at your next event to do some comedy. You know, help her get back out there on stages. We all want these stages back.
Yes.
All right. So check her out. So we got plenty of videos out here. Plenty. Let me see if I can find a video. If you guys can hear, I want you to hold on, what's she talking about? Let's see. I'm telling y'all, she be off the chain. Check it out.
What's really going on when somebody got to show you how to fold up your drawer? Especially when your drawer is about the size of a piece of Kleenex. Fold that stuff up and toss it in the drawer.
I mean,
Stuff like that. Stuff like that. Oh, let's see what else.
To roll up some tissue.
Baby. Hey, my great baby.
Hey, grandma.
Get your ass up. I'm finna come pick you up for church. Baby. You heard me, baby?
So they don't want to hear that.
This
They'll
shit
never want to go to church
damn
again.
fro. That ain't nobody but the damn devil. Hey, my great baby.
Hey, grandma.
Get your ass up.
Hold on, let me see something.
That is my most duetted TikTok.
Really?
Yes, I get at least 5 of those a day for the last 18 months.
I want you to talk to us about this character that we're looking at here. You seem to have characters. Hold on.
I lay me down to sleep. My TikToking day is now complete. If any TikTokers die before I wake, I pray their followers I can take. It was just a little jokey joke. I mean, my goodness.
I mean, the man upstairs can get a little sensitive.
That's right. So you are actually getting into character when you do these videos. It's almost like reminds me of Medea. Talk to me about what you're actually doing on social media. I think it's masterful and I find it to be entertaining. Talk to us.
All right, you are getting an exclusive, okay?
Let's go.
That character's name is Miss Mary.
Okay.
Miss Mary came about, I told you I live with a lot of chronic diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was diagnosed with something called Sjogren's. Don't ask me how to spell it, guys, but definitely look it up. It has a German spelling. And it causes you to not produce saliva, tears, things, different fluids of the body. So, and I also have something called scleroderma. So those two things together have caused my mouth to shrink. And it also causes your teeth to go bad from the lack of saliva. The doctors decided when I was in my late 40s that they needed to pull all my teeth out because my mouth was getting so small. They felt if we don't get them out now, we won't be able to get in there and get them. Can you imagine the depression being, in your 40s and losing all your teeth? So when I looked at myself in the mirror, I literally told my children, I am never showing my face again. I'm never going out. I look horrible. I look like an old lady. Can't do it. Later, as I began to accept the condition, my coping mechanism was to put it to comedy. Mm-hmm. Miss Mary became the alter ego to Gigi. And that's how Gigi coped with looking like an old lady way before her time. But she was modeled after a lot of the feelings that I really had as far as just motherhood and in being an old soul. And that's where that was born from. And I performed it in community theater. She became popular. She became Miss Mary to everybody. TikTok saw it and it became, like everybody's grandmother.
Wow. What an inspiration. Tabitha Rochelle Hatcher is here. She says, "You are beautiful, Mom." And I also want to say that you are beautiful. You are a truly unique American story here tonight. And I'm extremely happy to have you here on our grand finale.
Thank you.
Some of the things that you talked about tonight would be totally debilitating for a lot of people. And the fact that you have taken it to God, you took it to God first, and you made comedy out of it, is out of this world. So everybody right now, I want you all to blow up the chat. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building right now. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building right now, because what Gigi has done by creating Miss Mary is she's done what people just don't do. There's a lot of people who are shut in their homes right now because they're dealing with something that happened in the middle of their life.
Yep.
And nobody's ever going to find out about it because they are just that debilitated, but not you. And we love your videos. So, now, and we got Kathy Jones in the building. Amazing how God has turned your trials into such a blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right, y'all. Let's blow this chat up. She's doing an amazing thing.
Thank you, guys.
What is next for you? What do you feel is next for you? What's next for you in your ideal world? What's next for you?
In my ideal world, I would love to be able to meet some of these people in person, to really be able to connect with them, look them dead in their face. I mean, virtual is good, but I really think that when you can actually lay hands on people and touch them and look them in their eyes, they can feel your generosity even more. They can feel, how genuine you are. Like, it's not just something I say on social media. It's what I really do feel. So I would love to be able to get out there and really get back to having that one-on-one connection with the people.
When you get out here and you touch people and people touch you back, that must be an incredible feeling. What are you desiring to leave as a legacy here? What is the legacy that you intend to leave with everybody?
I hope it makes sense, but what I would definitely like people to understand is your village doesn't have to be that large to be good. I think sometimes people feel like if they don't have a zillion friends or if they don't have a huge family, it's not enough. But I'm telling you, one good person that genuinely loves you, that genuinely supports you, that genuinely believes in you is enough. So if we can just change that culture where people don't think I have to be part of a gang of people, I have to be part of this big group. No, honey, if you just have one good person that truly supports you, that will tell you the truth, that will, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. That's all you need. Now, anything above that is icing on the cake.
Right.
So to be able to just let these young people know when they look out there and they see somebody's got 1,400 people at their birthday party, but they only have 2, then honey, if you have 2 genuine friends at your party, you have way more value than the person who has 1,400 over there. And I would say 1,399 of them don't know anything about them. They're just there because it looks good. It's about what's really real, not what looks good based on what society decided,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense. It reminds me of when people talk about the beauty that is not always beauty is what's on the inside. You know,
Yes.
that's what I'm reminded of tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, wisdom coming from Gigi tonight, you know, also known as Miss Mary. Now, do you write this stuff out or do you just let it flow?
Both.
Okay.
But I will say I seem to have more success on the things that I just let flow.
No, talk about that. Talk about that because a lot of time, you know, the advice that you're giving is always write, and do some more writing and do some more writing. But you said you have more success by just letting it flow. Is there such thing as getting good at letting it flow?
I'm going to say yes, because I've had to practice it more in the last couple of weeks. I've gotten to the part now, instead of trying to sit down, pen and paper and try to come up with an idea. Now it's more, you just observe what's going on, you know, either what people are talking about or what you see in the environment. And then what does that say to your spirit? You know, with a lot of times with the inspirational things, I'm really reading what the comments are. And I honestly will tell you, I sit and pray over it. And then I turn on the camera. So no scripting it, no trying to write down, okay, well, they asked this question, or I want to make these 3 points. No, it's turn on the camera and Lord, just take my mouth. Just take my mouth, you know, and whatever that is, I don't edit it at all. You know what I have to do, Cedric? I have to shorten it so that I upload it, because he will just take over, you know, and I'll look back and I'll listen to it and I'm like, wow, I said that. And then just as quickly you go, no, you didn't say that. He said that. He just used your mouth.
See, this is the miracle of life that we need to tap into. Realizing that true beauty is on the inside and that we need to be having this relationship with ourselves. And in that relationship, we can hear God talking to us. Yeah. And that which God says to us, then we say to the world. And it makes the world a better place. And it's effortless. Mm-hmm. See, this is free energy.
Yes.
This is giving away the game for free, which makes you powerful. Yeah. We're talking about the power of the people, power through the people right now. And our world becomes a better place when people decide to take social media. This is what we have now. This is where technology is.
Exactly.
I was watching a BP commercial over a decade ago, and the whole commercial was about the idea that technology brings hope. I want to encourage somebody out there to use technology to bring hope. If Miss Gigi can do it, you can do it too. Yes. We need your voices out there. I'm talking about you watching the show tonight.
Yes. Start
you a TikTok, start you an Instagram page, even get on Facebook. Start making videos. You don't got to be fancy and right. Build a relationship with yourself, and your God will tell you what to tell the people. And our world is going to become a better place just by doing that. MB Christian says, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Matter of fact, drop a 1 in the chat if you are willing to take the step that we're talking about tonight. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're willing to take that step tonight. I'm telling you, we need you. Yes. You don't think that we need you, but we think that we need you. Mm-hmm. Miss Gigi got thousands of followers. I'm telling y'all, go look at her. Go look at her IG page. Her IG page. She got more followers. She got more followers than the average. She got more views than the average. She's got more retention than the average. Check her out. Get on TikTok. And so there is a market. There is a market for your voices.
It really is.
Okay. Now, you ever thought about starring in a movie or starring in a play or anything? Do you have any dreams to do that?
Very much so, yes. I did community theater for roughly 4 years, so I definitely have had the opportunity to be on stage. And I've also directed and produced shows. I have actually written modern day updates to both Snow White and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which has been performed on stage in Plano. And I'm hoping to market those out to some other theaters here soon.
I feel that when you get ready to market those, you need to stop by at America's Next Motivator and let us know
Okay.
so that we can find ways to support your work. I see, like I've said several times during this episode, I see you as a wonderful, essential creative, and we should definitely get out there and support your work. Now, I got 3 questions for you. We're down to the final 30 seconds of the show.
Okay.
You've been rocking the house tonight.
Thank you. You've made it easy for me.
Yeah. My first question, what is survival to you?
Not giving up. Not giving up. I don't want to say it's a scripture, but definitely a very well-known saying. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up.
That's right.
I know it's cliche, but it's truth. So that's what survival is. It's continuing to get up every time. Every new diagnosis, you still get up. Every glitch in technology that doesn't work, you keep trying until you learn it. You know, you just don't give up. Now, you might get up slower sometimes, may have to lay there and kind of lick your wounds, but get up.
That's right. What is success to you?
Joy in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Sincere joy in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the smiles on a child and knowing that they know that somebody really does care about them.
What is greatness to you?
Forgiveness.
Okay.
I think when you can forgive, that's what makes you a great person. When you don't take the time to remember all the bad stuff that may have happened to you, but you find some way to forgive either yourself or that person that inflicted it upon you or that situation, that's what makes you great.
Are y'all hearing Miss Gigi tonight? Let's go. Miss Gigi, I want to let you know that we've listened to your story. I love the way that you have found a way to entertain, bring humor, bring life to your family and to the greater community at large. We're giving you your respect today while you're here with us on this episode, and we're giving you your crown today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Miss Gigi, you are America's Next Motivator.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. You got crowns coming into the building. We all appreciate you. This is your moment.
Don't make me do the ugly cry.
Don't do that. Let's get out of here before she do the crown, y'all. Everybody enjoy your Friday night. This has been the season finale of America's Next Motivator. And Gigi, thanks for stopping by tonight, all right?
Thank you, Cedric.
Yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you got to do, just like you did tonight, stop by and pick it up.